Okay, so we're gonna talk about one interesting topic in this week Parsha. This week Parsha is Parashat Shemot. We're starting, the Torah describe the Galus in Mitzrayim, the exile in Mitzrayim, which was an amazing exile before we, as a nation, have Eretz Yisrael at all. But this is the prior Galus Mitzrayim. And I want to go to the end of the Parsha, and the reason that I chose to speak about this topic is because the famous pasuk in the Novi Micha, it says in Micha, Ki imei tzedcha me'eretz Mitzrayim ar'enu niflaot, that Micha speaks about the end of days, about the Geula, the ultimate Geula that will be at the end of days, from the Geulas that we are now in. And the Navi says that there are similarities, there will be few similarities between the first Geulus, which is Geulus Mitzrayim, and the redemption from it, to the Geulus in the future, to the Geula from the Geulus of the last Geulus. Therefore, it's very interesting to just learn something about what we should expect, what's going to happen in the Geula from this particular Geulus, Geulus Edom, Geulus Rome. Okay. So at the end of this Parsha, the last few psukim, the last 3 psukim of the Parsha, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu, after he was sent to Mitzrayim, he came to Hashem and he complained. And he said the following: Vayashav Moshe el Hashem vayomer, Hashem, lama hareot la'am hazeh, lama zeh shlachtani. He said to Hashem, why you did this? Why you sent me to Egypt, to Mitzrayim? Because when I came to Paro asking, demanding that he will send the Yidden away, he made things worse. Until this point, he was give them the meanings in order, the teven to do the bricks. Now he said you should do the same amount of the bricks, but you will go get the material in order to make the bricks. And it was terrible, because even before that it says Vayimareru et chayem ba'avoda kasha, they were suffering a lot, and now it's become even worse to the extreme. So Moshe Rabbeinu felt very frustrated. In the beginning, Hashem told him, I want to redeem Bnei Israel, so go to Mitzrayim, talk to Paro, I will be with you. And Moshe Rabbeinu argued, if you remember, we will go to this psukim later on. He was not really want to be the messenger of Hashem to Paro, or the redeemer, the Goyal. He didn't want it. Hashem put it on him. And then he came, and after he spoke to Paro first time, Paro made everything worse, way worse. So Moshe Rabbeinu turned to Hashem and says, why did you do that? Lama hareot la'am hazeh? You made things worse. Lama zeh shlachtani? Why you send me? Ume'az bati el Paro ledaber bishmecha hera la'am hazeh. Since I came to him, things become really worse. So Hashem told him, and that's the last pasuk of the Parsha, Ata tireh asher e'aseh leFaro. Now you're going to see what I'm going to do to Paro. Ki biyad chazaka yeshalchem. Now, I want... So Hashem told to Moshe Rabbeinu, things going to change from now on. It's true that now it's become worse, but things going to change and the redemption will start. The process of the redemption will start. And that's the way Parashat Shemot ended. The point that I want to make is, if there is a similarity between what happened in the exile and the redemption of Mitzrayim to the last Golos, like Yimei Tzedcha Me'eretz Mitzrayim Ar'enu Niflaot, there will be some miracles the same way it was there. The process is the same. And I'll show you that it's not my idea, it's Rabbeinu Bechaye and the Kli Yochar. They mentioned that, and others, they mentioned that That's what we should expect at the end of our goals. And it seems like we have to be ready for this. What we should expect, that when the Mashiach will come, it will not be a redemption 1 to 3. Remember, Moshe Rabbeinu was the first Mashiach, so to say, the first Goel, the first Redeemer, Moshe Rabbeinu, right? And Hashem revealed himself to him in the burning bush, in the sneh, and he told him, it's time for the Geula, go, I'm sending you. And he went, and he came and stand in front of Savei Yisrael, meaning the elders of Israel in Mitzrayim, and he told them, and they believed him, meaning they saw the Mashiach, they saw the Goel, they saw the Redeemer. So you expect after the Mashiach will come, everything will be fine. Then he went to Paro. He went to Paro, meaning the process of the Geula going to start, right? And it never started. What happened? Paro make things worse. So said Rabbeinu Bechaya and the Kli Yoker that what's going to happen. After Mashiach will come, and we will be sure that he is the Mashiach, he is the Redeemer. In the beginning, things will become even worse after Mashiach will come, and only later on the redemption will really happen. Gonna happen. The question is why? Why it should be this way? Why it was like this then in Galus Mitzrayim, and why it should be, it must be the same way now in the Geula that really in front of us. So let's go back to the first few psukim of the beginning of the last perek in Parashat Shemot, which is perek A. And again, it's a shame that you could not see it. I don't know, maybe you have in front of you Chumashim.
In a few minutes, my friend's going to try to help when she's at work. So continue, hopefully, in a few minutes.
Okay, I will continue. I'll continue.
Thank you. Sorry, everyone.
Moshe Rabbeinu came with Aharon because there was an argument, a whole argument in the sneh. Moshe said, I'm not the right person, I'm not speaking well, and I'm not speaking well, so Hashem told him, okay, Aaron will speak for you, okay? So they came to Mitzrayim. That's how Perek Hey, the fifth Perek of Shemot started. ואחר באו משה ואהרון ויאמרו אל פרעה, כה אמר השם אלוקי ישראל, שלח את עמי ויחוגו לי במדבר. So Moshe Rabbeinu comes, after they spoke with the elders of the Yidden, and they believed them, they came and standing in front of Paro. So let's see what happened there. So the Psukim says like this, Moshe ואהרון came to Paro and said to Paro like this, כה אמר Hashem Elokei Israel. Hashem with Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Shem HaMeforesh. Okay? Hashem Elokei Israel, כה אמר Hashem Elokei Israel, שלח את עמי ויחוגו לי במדבר. Send my people and let them celebrate in the desert. The response of Paro, first time he heard about this, that there is such a demand from Hashem, he said the following, ויאמר פרעה, מי השם אשר אשמע בקולו? Who is Hashem? לא ידעתי את השם, וגם את ישראל לא אשלח. I do not know him, and therefore I don't care about your demand. What is the meaning of this? So we have to know a few things. I want to remind you two things that usually when we're running or learning this parshas, we do not really pay attention to this. First, Paro knew about other name of Hashem, which is Elokim. If you remember, in Parshas Miketz, when Paro has a problem with the dreams, and Yosef came to him, and Yosef told him, it's not me who's going to solve your Biladai, ha-Elokim ya'aneh et shlom Paro. And then he solved the dreams, and Paro says to his servants, הנמצא כזה איש אשר רוח אלוקים בו. And then he turned to Yosef and he says, אחרי הודיע אלוקים אותך את כל זאת, אין נבון וחכם כמוך. After Hashem reveals to you all this information about solving my dreams, you are the most wise person ever. So, Paro knew about the name of Hashem Elokim. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu came to him not with the name Elokim, but with the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. And he said, I don't know this name, and therefore I don't care about your request or your demand. So let's explain this. This is very, very important. It's not going to be the major topic of now, but you have to know this. Hashem has more than one name. Elokim, Adnut, Adon, like master, and Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is, the name is Shem Hashem. Hashem HaMeforash is the most close to what he is. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. The Goyim know about spiritual powers that are in the creation. Avodah Zarah is to take one or few of these powers and relate to them that like they are the major powers in charge of what's happening here. So, power in Lashon Kodesh are the two letters, Aleph Lamed. Aleph Lamed, if you remember, Lavan says, when he ran after Yaakov, chased after Yaakov, he said, Yesh le'el yadi la'asot lachem me'uma. Yesh le'el yadi meaning, I have in my might. Aleph Lamed is power, might. And as you know, probably many of you knows, that the name Elokim, when it's mentioned in the Torah, is always represent Midas Adin, the attribute of justice, which is power, So Hashem called Elokim also, but the main name of Hashem is Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei meaning that he is the one who make the reality exist, who mehave et hametziut, he make it exist. Paro says, I do not know the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, therefore I don't care about your request. Next week Parshas Va'era is exactly around this, the first few psukim. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, ויאמר אלוקים אל משה, וירא אל אברהם, אל יצחק ואל יעקב באל שדי, ושמי השם לא נודעתי להם. ושמי השם, י' כ' ו' כ' לא נודעתי, meaning I didn't reveal this name to them. But to you, the redemption will be with this name, y' k' v' k'K. Okay, there are a lot of more details about the difference between this, but between those two names, Elokim and Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Geula was made with the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. All the Nissim of Mitzrayim and Kriyas Yam Suf and Matan Torah was with the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. The Avos knew about Yud Kei Vav Kei, but it was not revealed in the world. Hashem did not reveal himself in the world. This is the meaning, Ushmi Hashem lo nodati lahem. It's not lo hodati lahem, but lo nodati. Lo hodati, if it was lo hodati, I never told them this name. But it's not true. Look at Sefer Bereshit, you will see that Hashem speaks with this name to the Avos. But it says lo nodati, meaning I didn't appear in the reality with this name. That's going to happen from now on. Okay, that's by the way. So let's go back to Paro. Paro says, Mi Hashem, who is Yud Kei Vav Kei that I will listen to him, lo yadati et Hashem, v'gam et Yisrael lo ashaleach. So they need to explain even better, right? So they said to him, ויאמרו, אלוהי העברים נקרא עלינו, נלכה לדרך 3 ימים במדבר ונזבחה להשם אלוקינו. So they explain, okay, the Hebrews that in your country that you made them slaves, he appeared to us, Elokei Ha'ivrim, he is the God of the Hebrews, and he asked us to go to the desert for 3 days. And that's the second day, that's the second thing that I want to emphasize. And many people do not pay attention to this. If you follow carefully, you will see that since Moshe and Aaron came to Paro first time, which is here, right? To the end, to the end, including the end, meaning to the Makas Bechoros. When, after Makas Bechoros, Paro says, okay, Kum utzu mitoch ami, go, right? So, look carefully and you'll see that Moshe and Aaron never mentioned to Paro that they're going to take the Yidden, they're going to take the Jews from Mitzrayim for good, forever. All this time, Paro believed, and they made him believe, that they're going only for a few days in order to celebrate and then come back. And even to that he refused. They never told him that they're going to take the Jews out of Mitzrayim forever. Look at this. It will be, if you'll look at it, and that's what make the trick of when they went out of Mitzrayim, they went 3 days and they have no intention to come back. And then it says in Parashat Shemot, Paro says, what? I let you only to go for celebrate and now you're not returning, and then he came to chase them. So that was a trick in order to bring him to Yam Suf, in order to drown and destroy the entire Egyptian army in Yam Suf. Okay? Fine. So, what happened here? Moshe and Aaron came to Paro, asked him for for sending the Jews, and he refused. But why? Because he do not know Hashem. Okay, but if you will continue, you will see that he responds to them like this. Not just, I do not know Hashem, therefore I ignore his request. ויאמר אליהם מלך מצרים, למה משה ואהרון תפריעו את העם ממעשיו? Why are you bothering them? They are working so nice and so well. Why you come with these ideas, the spiritual ideas that you want to go to serve Hashem? And then he made a decree. ויצב פרעה ביום ההוא את הנוגסים לאמור, ואת שוטריו לאמור, לא תוסיפון לתת תבן לעם ללבון הלבנים כתמול שלשום, הם ילכו וקוששו להם תבן. So he made the decree even worse. He said, no, I'm not going to give you the straw, the teven. You will go get the teven and make the levanim, and you have to bring the same amount of, or make the same amount of bricks the same way before. And as I mentioned before, even before this decree, it was terrible. וימררו את חייהם בעבודה קשה. It was so hard work, and anyone who didn't give the amount of the bricks, they took their child and put him in the building. But now they have to do the same amount and go all over to gather the straw. That was beyond their ability. But Paro says, you know what? When you have time, if you have time to think about serving God, meaning that you have extra time. So I want to fill this extra time. תכבד העבודה על האנשים ואל ישו בדברי שקר. That was the decree. Now, it says it was two groups in charge. Was שוטרי בני ישראל, the shotrim, the police, was Jews, but was the Nogsim. The Nogsim was the one that was in charge on the police, and that was the Nogsim. That was Egyptians that was in charge in order to make sure that they will do whatever Paro says in his decree. So it says, the Torah says, that the Shotrim, the police, the Jews, Shotrim, Vayuku Shotrei Bnei Israel, they punished them. They punished them because they didn't bring the what was expected from them, the amount of the bricks. Then it says, in the continuation of the parak, that when the Shotrim got hurt, they came to Paro and said, listen, it's not fair what you're doing, it's not right. And Paro says to them, no, you have extra time, do whatever, don't think about spiritual things, serving Hashem. Then it says that those Shotrei Bnei Israel, the police in Bnei Israel, came to Moshe and Aaron and blamed them and said, Hashem will punish you. They said to Moshe and Aaron, Hashem will punish you because see what happened. See what happened? Now you gave Pharaoh and the Egyptians excuse to kill us in a sword. So they blame them in the murder of the Jews because of their request to Pharaoh. Because since they made the request that Pharaoh will send them for 3 days to go serve Hashem, then everything happened. That was the background of Moshe Rabbeinu complaining to Hashem. So I'll go back to the first pasuk that I quote here, in this year. וישוב משה אל השם ויאמר, השם, למה הרעות לעם הזה? למה זה שלחתני? You made things worse. Why you send me? Why you sended me? And again, the background for this complaint, why you sent me, I did not want to go. You made me go. I was not so excited about the job in the first place. I told you I'm not speaking well. Shlach nabiyat tishlach. Send someone else. And you forced me to go. And now, I am the one that they're blaming for the worst situation that happened. But if you go back now to Perek Gimel, to the third Perek, after and the description of Moshe היה רואה צאן יתרו חותנו, and he saw the burning bush. You could see that in the Psukim, after Hashem convinced Moshe Rabbeinu to go, Hashem told him it will not be easy. Hashem told him in advance. Let me quote you the Psukim from Perek Gimel. Hashem says in Pasuk Yutet, in Perek Gimel, ואני ידעתי כי לא ייתן אתכם מלך מצרים להלוך ולא ביד חזקה. So Hashem told him, it will not be that easy that you will go to Pharaoh, ask him to send the Jews away, and they'll say, okay. He will not let you. This is one time. The other time is in Perek Dalet, Pasuk Kaf Aleph. The fourth Perek, Pasuk Kaf Aleph, it says, ויאמר השם אל משה בלכתך לשוב מצרימה ראה את כל המופתים אשר שמתי בידך ועשיתם לפני פרעה. And he told him in advance, ואני אחזק את ליבו ולא ישלח את העם. I will make his heart hard that he will not send the nation because I want to give on him all the 10 makos. So Moshe Rabbeinu knew it in advance that it will not be easy. Right? That Pharaoh will not let them out. So how come, and ask the Ibn Ezra and the other Mefarshim, how come he says to Pharaoh, how come he complained to Hashem, למה הרעות לעם הזה, למה זה שלחתני? ומאז באתי אל פרעה לדבר בשמך, הרע לעם הזה. So ask the Ibn Ezra, Hashem told him in advance. So he should expect that there will be difficulties. So why he said to Hashem, למה הרעות לעם הזה? So explain the Ibn Ezra, that Moshe Rabbeinu knew that Pharaoh will not send them right away. But the problem was that he made the situation worse. Okay, he could say no, fine. But he made the situation impossible. Tichbad ha'avodah al ha'anashim, and that was beyond. That was bothering Moshe. And Hashem told him, and now what Hashem told him about this? Hashem told him, Ata tir'eh asher e'aseh leParo. And in those words, Ata tir'eh asher e'aseh leParo, there is a big thing. The big thing is to explain what I asked in the beginning. Why? Why after the Goyal, the Redeemer, come, and the people are sure that he is the real Mashiach, the real Redeemer, why after that it has to be even worse? And it's very deep thing. I want to show you what the Rabbeinu Bechaya said about this. Actually, it's a long piece. I will try to summarize it. It's the Rabbeinu Bechaya on Perek Hey, Pasuk of Bet. On the words of Moshe Rabbeinu, Lama hareota la'am hazeh, lama zeh shlachtani. By the way, there is any progress we could see.
Rabbi, I have a host key number for you. Should I put it in the chat?
I don't know. Let's try again. Do whatever, and I will see if I could.
If you put this number in host key, it should work. So should I send it to you in the chat right now?
But how I'm gonna put it without cutting off this entire Zoom thing? I don't want to cut it off.
No, I don't think it should.
I think if you are the host and you just hold it to me, I don't have to do anything.
I know. I don't know why that's not working. Okay, I don't want to interrupt your teaching. Keep teaching. I'm going to call my friend back. Maybe
You should press
I will try again. No, it still doesn't let me.
What did you say, Trevor?
You have to, on the bottom, like there's a menu, like participants chats, there should be a more. When you press more, it says enter in host key.
Oh, so Rabbi, can you do that? Can you do that, Rabbi?
I will try.
Because in the chat, then Trevor, you could read in the numbers in the chat.
In which one? In which one? In the participants?
No, tell Rabbi what to do.
Do you see where it says like more? Like there should be like where it says on the bottom or like a thing that says participants, chat, reactions, whiteboard notes is green. Then there's like a more button. And then there should be something that says
I don't see it now. Okay. Forget it. I'll say it by heart. What can I do? I mean, I said by heart.
Wait a minute. More. Wait a second. See, mine says more, but then what, Elisheva? It doesn't say anything more, and then what? It just says security, meeting settings, backgrounds, effects, disconnect audio. Oh, okay.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
So let me summarize what the Rabbeinu Bechaya says. Rabbeinu Bechaya says that the question of Moshe Rabbeinu, Lama hareota la'am hazeh, why you make things worse, says Rabbeinu Bechaya, this is exactly the question of Tzadik V'Ra Lo or Rasha V'Tov Lo. And actually, is more Rasha V'Tov Lo. How come, Moshe Rabbeinu wants to verify, how come Paro is succeeded to be even worse than, or cause more harm, more difficulties to the Yidden in Egypt? That was the question. Says Rabbeinu Bechaya, this is actually what Yirmiyahu Hanavi says in Perek Yud Bet in Yirmiyahu, and he quote a pasuk from there, Madua derech reshaim tzalecha, shalu kol bogdei baged. Why the Rishayim?
Rabbi, your host now. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I made you host. Hashem, I think, made it work out. So can you screen share now? I hope.
Yeah, I see that I could, but I don't see. Just 1 second. I have to do a few things.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know how to do that right.
So since you're the host, I think at the bottom it just says share. The arrow, you can press share. You have different controls at the bottom, and there's a button that says share. There's one thing that says share.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. No, it doesn't give it to me yet. I mean,
with your kind permission, can we just let the rabbi continue?
yeah, I think so. I think we'll do it the way we started.
Rabbi,
next time we'll be more efficient. Let's continue. Okay, we have no time. So, Rabbeinu Bechaya says that the question of Rasha V'Tovlo, why the Rishonim succeed to do harm in this world. So there are two ways to explain this. Either to there is a pasuk in the end of Parashat Shemot, and the pasuk says, Umshalem leson'av el panav lehavido. Hashem give rewards to the wicked people in this world because they have no portion in the world to come. In the ultimate time that they could get the reward, a person could get the reward about things, good things that he made in this world. So the Rishonim that usually have a lot, the vast majority of their actions are bad, but they have also some zchuyas, some good stuff that they did. So Hashem give them the rewards of the few good things that they did in this world, because they will not have a portion in the world to come in the ultimate reward place. And therefore, because Hashem has justice, running the world with justice, He gives them the rewards in this world. And this is the reason why we could find wicked people who has success in their lives. They live long life, they have fame, they have wealth, they have health, in order to pay them off now because they do not have in the world to come. This is one reason why the wicked could be successful in this world. The other reason is, and this is very interesting, that Hashem give them, because they choose to be bad, Hashem give them this option, like, Haba, bederech she'adam rotze lelech, ba molichim oto. You want to be wicked? Okay, do whatever. You're going to pay for this, but I will let you even to be more worse, more bad, in order to get a stronger punishment. So that's what Yirmiyahu Hanavi wants to verify. Why? Madua derech hashaim tzalecha. Why the wicked are so successful? Says Rabbeinu Bechaye, that exactly was the point of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu knew. Hashem told him that it will be not easy. Paro will not agree immediately to send them away. But he was bothered by how come Hashem let Paro to make even worse decrees on the Jews, as we said. And that was impossible for them to really stand on it. Right? So Hashem answered, says Rabbeinu Bechaye, Hashem answered Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not because Paro has zchuyas, has some good stuff that I'm paying him off now. The reason I let him to do it is because I want to give him a bigger, stronger punishment. Therefore, I let him to be even more wicked than he was before. And in the other way, why the Jews has to suffer from this? Just because Hashem want to punish Paro even more? The answer was, Ata tir'eh asher e'aseh leparo. Ata tir'eh, you're gonna see. You're gonna see. Asher e'aseh leparo, I want him to be more wicked. Therefore, I will punish him even more severe. But what's the Ata tir'eh? Ata, now you will see. Ata tir'eh, now you will see. That, says Rabbeinu Bechaye, relate to the Yidden. The Yidden that gonna suffer now even more is also will be because I want to increase the rewards for them, that they will know, they will go now through even deeper suffering, bigger suffering, harder, in order to increase their reward. So there is justice over here. Paro will have the ability to be more wicked in order to punish him more, and the Jews, the Yidden, will suffer more, and their reward will be bigger. But it's still, you hear that, okay, but it still seems we do not want to suffer more, and we do not need the extra reward. You could ask that. And here comes the Kli Yoker. And the Kli Yoker explains something even more amazing. He says, I'll go to the bottom of what we said, the bottom line. We have to ask ourselves, I'll give some background in order to understand what the Kli Yoker says. We have to explain, to understand for ourselves, why Galus Mitzrayim, the entire exile of Egypt, why it was a necessity. Because you have to remember, Hashem told it in advance to Avraham Avinu in Bris Ben HaBesarim. Hashem promised him, I'll make a big nation, great nation, I'll make a big nation out of you. And then in Bris Ben HaBesarim, he told him, ידוע תדע כי גר יהיה זרעך בארץ לא להם, ועבדום ועינו אותם 400 שנה, וגם את הגוי אשר יעבודו דן אנוכי. So Hashem told Avraham in advance, before Paro was born, many years before. You know that the nation that I promise you to make out of you will develop or become, create, not in this place in Eretz Canaan, be'eretz lo lahem. And later on we knew that was in Egypt. To Egypt, when the big family of Yaakov, the 70, ב-70 נפש ירדו אבותיך מצרימה, the 70 people that went with Yaakov, and from Egypt we went out as a nation. So where the Jewish people were created? In Egypt. But it said, Hashem says to Avraham Avinu, "Va'avadum ve'inu otam," and there will be slaves, a tortured slave. Va'avadum ve'inu otam 400 shana, 400 years. Where does this number come from? Why 400 years? And why altogether we have to be slaves and tortured slave? Why? What's the reason for, you know, we praise Hashem in Pesach, that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, right? With the 10 Makos and Kriyas Yamsuf, Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. But the question is, how come in the first place we went to Mitzrayim? Why was this Gezerah that the Yidden will be in Egypt tortured slaves? So this is a big thing. I'll say it in few words. Actually, tomorrow night I have a shiur in Hebrew explaining this in details. Why the Galus Mitzrayim was a necessity. I'll say it in brief. The reason that mentioned, Ramchal mentioned that, the Al-Sheikh mentioned that, it's according to the Kabbalah, it's connected to Chet Adam HaRishon, to the first sin of Adam HaRishon. In order to, the sin of Adam HaRishon put the entire human, entire Adam, and all his descendants in very low level. The potential that was in Adam when Hashem created was so high, and the Chet Adam HaRishon put him very, very down in a very low level of humanity. And that's connected to the spiritual contamination, the tumah, whatever. Hashem promised Avraham that he will make out of him a nation that could go back to the level of Adam HaRishon before the sin. And the way to do it is by something that mentioned in Chazal and the Gemara, Yisurin memarkin avonot. Suffering. Suffering are a cleanliness system to take away the sin's impact. And a little bit, I'll try to explain this a little bit. If you will think to commit a sin is something crazy, let me explain why. We have in ourselves two major powers: the mind, the seichel, and the urge, the impulse. The seichel, the pure da'as, the pure decision comes from our upper dimension, which is the neshama. The impulse, the urge, come from the physical part, which is the body. And there is a fight between the body and the neshama. Anytime that we are in the front of, let's say, any kind of temptation to do something that's the Torah says don't do. So what actually happened? The seichel told us, don't do it. The impulse, the urge, the dachaf, what's called in Lashon HaKodesh, hadachaf, meaning the urge, which comes from the body, says, do it, it's yummy. Even though it's not right, but you're going to have some enjoyment, some pleasure from doing it. And actually, in every sin that people do, usually they knew that the thing that they're going to do is wrong. Meaning their seichel told them, don't do this. Why are they doing it anyways? Because of the other force, which is the urge. The thing that the body says, and usually it's physical, that's, they told you, okay, it's not right, but it's pleasurable. So this is actually what happened in the free will. The free will is always the conflict between what's right and what feels good. The craziness is that almost every time, the physical urge is the winner. Why? Because this power called pleasure, fake pleasure. Why fake? Because after you do it, you feel frustrated. How come I fell again? So pleasure, it's not bad, but there are good pleasure, right pleasure, and fake pleasure. The good pleasure, the right one, is when you enjoy something, and even after you finish to do this, you keep feeling good. Anytime that you have a pleasure, that it's pleasure just for the moment, and right after that you ask yourself how I fell again, that is a fake pleasure. But this fake pleasure has a lot of power. It could twist the mind of the person, change or twist the ability to judge right. Okay? So that is the cause of if we analyze why people sin, this is the cause. The cause is the fake pleasure. But the fake pleasure has power. We see many people fell because of this. Okay, imagine someone who made a lot of sins in their life, and at a certain point, they decided to do tshuva. Real tshuva. Real tshuva. What's a tshuva actually doing? From now on, I change my ways. That's very nice. But tshuva has deeper meaning. Tshuva is not just to change from being not good to being good. Tshuva could fix retroactively what happened before. And the question is how? How? The answer is tshuva comes with suffering. Either physical suffering or emotional suffering, which is regret, feeling not good about what did you do before. And this comes under the umbrella of Yisurin Memarkin Avoinus. Suffering, cleaning the sin. What's the logic? The logic is, why a person will commit a sin? Because of the fake pleasure. What is the opposite of pleasure? Suffering. Therefore, suffering are the cleanliness system for the sins that were committed before. Okay, that is a general thing that should be discussed with a lot of more details, but I give it now just in order to explain what Chazal says, why part of the good news to Avraham Avinu in Bris Ben HaBesorim, ידוע תדע כי גר יהיה זרעך בארץ לא להם ועבדו ועינו אותם. What's the good news about this? That they will be slaves, and not just slaves, torture slaves. In order to clean them up from the impact of the sin of Adam Rishon, that the entire human race is in it. So I want to clean part of the human race, which is your descendants, Avraham Avinu, who will go to Mitzrayim. They will be suffering, and their Yisurim, their suffering, will clean them up and make them ready to go back to the level of Adam Rishon before the sin. This is the general reason why it was a necessity to go to Egypt and suffer them there. Now, the decree was that it will be for 400 years. Says the Kli Yakar, right now, when Moshe Rabbeinu was sent to Mitzrayim, it was after 210 years. There is someone over there that the microphone is open, it makes some noises, so if you could turn it off. Anyways, yeah, thanks. Moshe Rabbeinu was sent to redeem the Jewish people in Mitzrayim after 210 years. Meaning that there are another 190 years that they should be in Mitzrayim, but Hashem would take them before that. By the way, it's very, very beautiful and cute. It says, we sang it in the Haggadah, in Pesach, in Leil HaSeder, right? שהקדוש ברוך הוא מחשב את הקץ לעשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא calculate the end to do. Ketz in numbers are, Kuf is 100, Tzadik is 90. So 190, HaKadosh Baruch Hu calculate the 190 that left. Says the Kli Yakar, the reason is, the thing is like this. Why, actually answer the question, why it happened that after Moshe Rabbeinu started the process of Geula, he came to Paro, then things become even worse. Says the Kli Yakar, because we have to pay up the 400 years. So, everyone heard about or knows about quality and quantity, right? So the quantity of the time should be 400 years. I didn't explain, we have no time now to explain this number exactly. Why 400 years? Why not more? Why not less? 400 years. So the quantity should be 400 years. Because Hashem wants to cut it off by 190 years, the payoff for this will be a deeper suffering for a short time, that the quality will make up to the quantity. Therefore, because Hashem want to take them before the time, the hardness, the suffering should be deeper. Right? That's how the Kli Yakar explained this. And that's why it's a necessity. And this is the Ata Tir'eh. Ata Tir'eh, now you will see why the Jews has to suffer more in order to make the time in Galus, in exile, shorter. The amazing thing is, as we started this year, that it's going to repeat itself at the end of days. You know, we're looking for the Geula for a long, long time. This Galus is way longer than 400 years. Galus Mitzrayim has number, 400 years. Galus Bavel has a number, 70 years. But the Galus that we are here now in, Galus Edom, since the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash, we are almost close to 2,000 years in Galus. And there is no number. But it's not for nothing. There is a reason for this Galus. This Galus is going to bring the complete, ultimate shleimus to the world. After this Galus will not be any other Galus. And there are calculations that Hashem knows how long the Galus will be. And we, since the Galus, davening every day, that we know that Hashem is Goyal Israel, that we know that Hashem will send Mashiach at the end of days. But as it says in Tehillim, שומרים לבוקר, שומרים לבוקר. שומרים לבוקר meaning we keeping for the light to come. Nighttime is the time of Galus. Night is dark. It's Galus. We know that after the night will be a morning, will be the light of the morning. And we're wishing that finally we'll see the light, because the night is very long. So it says in the Pasuk, נפשי להשם משומרים לבוקר, שומרים לבוקר. Who are those who keeping to look for the morning? The Yidden and the Galus, the Jewish people in the Galus. We keep waiting for the Geula. But we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and nothing happened. The Galus, the night is so long. So the Nisayon, and this is the meaning of to give more rewards to the Jews who are suffering, that they do not give up. They wishing that the morning will come, but not just shomrim laboker. Shomrim laboker, shomrim laboker. We wishing, and when it's not coming, we are not giving up. We continue to keep for the morning to come. This is actually another pasuk. Kaveh el Hashem v'chazak v'yametz libecha v'kaveh el Hashem. You have a wish. You want Hashem to give you something that you, even in the personal level, that you really want. And you daven. And you daven and daven and daven and have expectation, anticipation that no, finally it should happen. Question is, if after a while you give up and you say, you know what, I wish and wish and wish and it never happens, so it will never happen. Or, because I know that Hashem promised that it will happen, it will happen. And even if according to my judgment the time comes for the Geula, but it's not still here, I will not give up and I will continue anticipate, continue wish, right? This is the Nisayon. And for that we're going to get the Sachar. The Sachar will be, the reward will be for the extra at the end of time. And we're talking about, not in our days. In our days we see that every day things for the Jewish people all over the world become worse. But we have again to anticipate that even after Mashiach will come, right? It's not will be 1, 2, 3. In fact, after Mashiach will come, the same way, the first Mashiach, the first Redeemer was Moshe Rabbeinu. And he was the real Mashiach, the real Goyal. Hashem sent him. And we knew when he spoke to Ziknei Israel, they believed that he is the Mashiach, he is the Goyal. And he came, and he stand in front of Paro and said, time of the Geula come, send them away. That's exactly what's going to happen. When Mashiach will come and will appear, and we will know that it's not a false Mashiach, it's not Mashiach Sheker, the real Mashiach will come. The Geula will be in the same way. He will have a lot of people around the world that will deny him or push him, try to push him away, and he will be disappearing and then appear again. By the way, the Medrash says that when Shotrei Bnei Israel came to Moshe and Aaron, says to them, look what did you do? Hashem will judge you, because of you things become worse. So many people think it's happening the same day or right away. No, says the Medrash, it was 6 months. Since Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron stand in front of Paro, until Ziknei Israel came to him and said, look what did you do? It was 6 months. So, what the Kli Yakar and the Rabbeinu Bechaya told us, that Ki mei tzedcha me'eretz Mitzrayim arenu niflaot, it will be the same. when Mashiach will come, after the real Mashiach will come, we have no doubt that this is the Mashiach, things will become worse. Why? In order to test us if we keep wishing or not keep wishing. And if we will, that will increase our tikkun and our sachar, our reward. So this year is just to prepare us to things that hopefully will happen very soon. That we will see Mashiach coming. But we will know based on what we learn, because Parashat Shavua, when we learn the Parsha, read the Parsha, it's not just to tell us what happened then. It's the Torah, instructions of how to see the world, how to expect right, and we have to be ready for this. So Bezrat Hashem, we davening to Hashem that Hashem will make all of us, v'techazena eineinu b'shuv chol Tzion berachamim, that Hashem will redeem His people, bring the Shechina back to Eretz Yisrael, to Yerushalayim, build Beis HaMikdash, but we know what to expect, and we know that we have to be strong in our Amunah, and even if things will become worse, and now we see, even today, before Mashiach came, things become not simple. We have to stand and be strong, because we know Hashem promised that He will make a Geula, will be a Geula. Okay, so that's what we could cover now. And again, if it was the technical ability to show all those texts, it will be easier. Any one of you who wants to do homework, I told you what the sources are. The psukim at the end, Perek of this week of Sefer Shemot, the psukim, Perek Gimel, when Hashem sent Moshe Rabbeinu by the sneh, and basically the Ibn Ezra, Rabbeinu Bechaye, and the Kli Yoker. I mentioned the sources. If you want to see it inside, that will be great. But that's what I could cover for now.
Thank you so much
Thank you for a wonderful shir. God bless you, the Rebbetzin and the family. Wonderful. God bless you, the Rebbetzin and the family. All your prayers should reach up to Seh Kavod.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Rabbi,
Rabbi.
what did you...
Listening.
Yeah. Usually,
Rabbi, what's the Hebrew for the Yisurim will clean?
the what?
You said something in Hebrew, Beivrit, Yisurim something.
Oh, Yisurim memarkim avonot. Suffering are cleaning sins. The impacts of
What's
sins.
the second word?
Memarkim. Memarkim is cleaning. Lemarek is to clean. Clean up.
Mimakim?
Memarkim. Mem resh kuf
Mimakim.
avonot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. I don't know. I think you have a custom or to verify things. So ask questions. Questions and answer at the end. I have a few minutes if you're interested. We could discuss things that we learned.
Any questions, anybody? I guess you were very clear.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Kalazan. I'm
Okay.
sorry about the street spelling. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.